change, rubbing off the pain, smoking dang. Got a Uzi in my lap, I let it bang. Free latte.
I noticed that the long video was really long, so I'm going to try to cut down this video, so I'm not going to give too much detail on every album. There are a few albums I do want to give some detail, but there's a few that I probably won't give that much detail about. So I'll recommend the album to you. You can go listen to it if you want to. If not, you don't have to. I'm going to give some detail, but there's a few albums I really want to go into detail about, so stick around for those. So yeah, you already saw, if you didn't see my video of the top 10 albums, the top 10 to top 5 albums, go check that out. These are the top 5 albums of the year, so stick around for this, and let's get started. If you haven't seen my other video, go watch it. This just jumps right into it, so let's get started with the number 5 album. Number 5 on this list, we have Leilas Wisdom by Rhapsody. This is one of my favorite albums of 2017, and it's really hard-hitting. For Rhapsody, this might be her breakout album. If people didn't know who she was, and all of a sudden they know, it's probably because of Leilas Wisdom. If you guys don't know, Leila, I think, is her grandmother, so it's kind of like an album dedicated to her. But with this album, she really goes off. Her flow is on point, her cadence. She has good she actually raps good. She knows what she's talking about, and definitely the best, I think, female album of the year, in my opinion. If you haven't listened to Rhapsody, go check her out. Some of my favorite songs on there are Power, Rioting, and You Should Know, featuring Waka Flocka Flame. If you don't know Waka Flocka Flame, he has crazy flows, and with this, he kind of goes fast, and he kind of keeps it calm, but it's one of the most hard-hitting, it's one of the tracks where you're damn, this is why she has one of the best albums of the year. Her flow is on point. Everything about this album is just good. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Riding, or Power with Kendrick Lamar, that song, I like how Kendrick Lamar doesn't take over the song, and he doesn't really get a verse, but he doesn't take over the song either, so you're not focused on him to take over the song, you're still focused on, Rhapsody, and her doing her thing, so that's what I like about this album. But yeah, definitely recommend this album. Go check it out. It's called Leilas Wisdom by Rhapsody. If this is your first time ever listening to Rhapsody, I think this is a very good place to start. So that is my number 5 album of the year. We're moving on to number 4. Number 4 on this list is 444 by Jay-Z. I'm not going to go into too much detail because you all already know most about this album. If you don't already know, you have to go listen to it. 444 by Jay-Z. What I didn't like was how he made you the Tidal thing. You had to get the album from Tidal or Sprint or something like that. You couldn't just listen to it on YouTube. You couldn't download it. And that just really freaking annoyed me. I had to just download it on a random website. Thankfully, it was a good website that actually gave me the actual songs and shit. But thank God I didn't have to actually go on Tidal and buy it, because I really wasn't about to do that. But yeah, I guess he had a partnership he wanted to do with them for that to be the only way he can get his music or something. But anyways, this is his 13th studio album, I believe, and he's still killing it at this level. He already has a top album. If you don't already know the song The Story of OJ, where everyone heard about the line, you all over here holding money to your ear, there's a disconnect. We don't call that money over here. You guys probably already heard about that, and you guys probably heard the reference, I'm not black, I'm OJ. You guys probably already heard about that. That's the leading song in this album, I'd say, because that song went viral. It's really good. He talks about owning property and how he had chances to get really expensive things, and how they were cheaper back then, but now they're worth 25 mil, but he could have bought a place for 2 mil. And he talks about properties. He talks about credit, debit, and just stuff that's kind of with America. And he also talks about racism, and people say the saying, I'm not black, I'm OJ. It just goes into a bunch of detail in this album. So if you guys have not heard this album already, which I'm pretty sure most of you guys have, go check it out. I don't really need to say much about it. You guys pretty much already know about the album. So we're going on to number 3, which I kind of am going to get a little into detail for. Number 3 album on this list is probably one of my favorite albums of the year. It's Big Fish Theory by Vince Staples. This album blew me away. Especially since Summertime '06 didn't really do anything for me. That's his previous album he dropped before that. It didn't really do much for me. It had some nice tracks on there, but I wasn't expecting this to be one of the best albums of the year in Big Fish Theory. again, this is my opinion. Some people actually don't think this is like the best album, one of the best albums. This is all my opinion. As I said, 444 was my opinion, Leilas Wisdom, my opinion. All these albums that I put on here are my opinion. Feel free to make your own list in the comments. But yeah, Vince Staples goes... on this album, he is very, very versatile and he is very experimental. He basically talks about how he is like the big fish in the room and all the problems. He also talks about like racism, black people getting killed. There's a song in here that kind of reminds you of slavery, In Rain Come Down. But yeah, let's start with the song Bag Back, where he was basically saying, tell the 1% to suck a dick because we all know. Tell the president to suck a dick because we all know. Tell the government to suck a dick because we all know. He's basically saying that the government cannot stop us. We are on our level. We are doing our thing, and there's nothing the government can do about it. And he also talks about how he wants like another black president and how Obama wasn't enough and how he wants to like change the like presidency in America. But he's also saying, hey, if the government tries to interfere with us, we have a problem. And it's one of the best tracks on the album too. It's really well produced. If you don't know, it's Bag Back, B-A-G-B-A-K, one of the best albums on the album. Go listen to that. Another one is Big Fish featuring Juicy J, and I wasn't expecting Juicy J on here, but what I didn't like is that he didn't have a verse. He sang the chorus and all he was like, this was his chorus. I was up late night balling, counting up hundreds by 1,000. That's literally all he says in the chorus. He said that like 10 times maybe. He doesn't get a verse, which I was really expecting a verse from. That would be so dope. But Vince Staples' verses are pretty good. He has a really nice line on here where he was like, the sharks make me want to put the hammer to my head, which is a metaphor. Like, there's a shark called the hammerhead shark, but the sharks made me want to put the hammer to my head. It's just like metaphor wordplay. And the music video to Big Fish also like involves like sharks and stuff. He's on like a ship alone, stranded. So yeah, it like all fits in. And Big Fish is like probably the best track on this album, I'd say. It's just like something you can get lit to and something you can also think about too. His flow on here is incredible. The way he delivers is he like switches it up on different tracks. He's like this song, he goes like fast and he actually talks about something. So yeah, Big Fish is like my favorite track on this. I'm like most likely sure. I don't think there's any other tracks on here that are my favorite. I also want to talk about Love Can Be featuring Kilo Kush, because he has been working a lot with Kilo Kush. He has at least 2 or like 3 songs on this album with her, and you can tell the chemistry between them is getting like really well. They're making tracks on here, they're banging. And this one is like a kind of like a dance club song, but it's very versatile, and it's just really a nice listen. It's not that much like of a meaning song, but it's just something you can listen to. Like once you hear it, you're just like dancing, like ooh. It's called Love Can Be. It's just really cool. Kilo Kush's verse on here is dope. Vince Staples does his thing, of course. That's a recommended track. And now I wanted to come to the track that's called Rain Come Down, that also is kind of talking about slavery. Basically what he's featuring Ty Dolla $ign, by the way, if you don't know. And basically what he's saying is that, so Ty Dolla $ign has this hook, and it's like, when the sun goes down, when the rain come down, in the middle of the night. So basically he's saying, when the like rain comes down, no wait, what am I saying? Hold on. When the sun goes down is when like a slaves, back in the days when they had slaves, when the sun went down, when it was like 6, 7, those times, the nighttime basically is when they would stop working out in the fields, and when it would actually be like a time where slaves could feel happy. It's like really hard hitting. Like you just hear Ty Dolla, the way he sings it with the beat, you're just like, damn, you can just like imagine like the pain the slaves went through. It's thinking about it is terrible, but the song is really well produced. What I didn't like is how he used the same verse twice. He basically, right after the chorus, he made a verse, and then he used the same exact verse, same words, everything again. And then the third verse was different, but he used the same verse twice. Wasn't a big fan of that, but the song is still really good. It's well produced, and it gives you that nice vibe. It has like a nice flu in it. It's just a really beautiful song. I think that's one of my favorites on here as well. It's called Rain Come Down, and I think Ty Dolla $ign has the best feature on here. I did say Big Fish was my favorite track on here, featuring Juicy J, but he wasn't my favorite feature because he had just like one line repeating the same thing over and over. But Ty Dolla $ign actually gives you like that vibe, and like he has like an actual like different lines for the chorus. It's just Ty Dolla $ign's feature is the best on here. He also has a feature with Kendrick Lamar in the song Yeah Right, but that doesn't really do anything for me. I obviously liked it, but like it wasn't my favorite. I say Ty Dolla $ign had the best feature on the album. So if you don't already know, listen to it. Big Fish Theory, Vince Staples, one of the best albums of the year, well produced. So go ahead, check that out. On to the number 2 album of the year. My number 2 album of the year, which might shock some people, be like, why are you putting this album at number 2? Some people might have put this at number 1. I think most people did. It's Damn by Kendrick Lamar. I'm sorry. It's not my number 1. It's not my favorite. I'm sorry. But it is one of the best albums of 2017. I put it at number 2 for a reason. You might, once you hear my number 1 album, you probably will like maybe understand, maybe not. But I put Damn on here, and I just think it's really like one of his best albums after Good Kid, Mad City, and To Pimp a Butterfly. It's like his third. I know he has another one, but yeah, it's one of his like best work, but not his best albums. Obviously, you guys know the song Humble. That went viral. You've heard DNA, another one of his bangers. Element, which also went viral. And I don't need to really say much about this album. You already know what this album is about. If you don't already know this album, I don't really know what you've been doing in 2017 regarding music. So you have to know this album. I don't really need to get into too much detail. You already know about this. But one of the songs I do really like is Love featuring Zachariah, where, including the music video on YouTube, he basically is surrounded by all these beautiful women, but he still wants one girl at the end of the day, which I think is really cool. He has all these women that want to come up to him, but he just ignores them because he's focused on one girl, which I really think is a great song, and which is why he says, I want to be with you, hey, I want to be with you. That's basically what he's saying in that track. But yeah, it's really enjoyable. If you don't already know this album for some reason at all, you definitely need to check it out, which I'm pretty sure everyone watching this knows what Damn is. Definitely like the first or second best album. My second might be your guys' first, but definitely a great album to listen to. So on to my number 1, which I'm going to get into detail about. My number 1 album of the year, and in my opinion, the best album that came out this year. You guys may not even know what this album is. If you guys like aren't into this kind of music, I don't know. It's Scumfuck Flower Boy, Tyler the Creator. And I picked this for a reason. And Tyler the Creator has made some weird music in the past. He hasn't really been serious with his music at times. But I feel like this one he's definitely serious on this. And this is his best work of music he's ever made. Flower Boy, basically talking about how he's developing to a new person, how he like feels people think about him, and also how he's like he talks about his sexuality, which I'm gonna get into a little later. But yeah, basically this is like his best album for sure. You guys know the song Who That Boy with A$AP Rocky, which went viral, and the music video too. It's just, if you haven't heard that song, you need to listen to it. One song I want to talk about is also November, which is like my second or third favorite one. He basically talks about how he wishes he went back to a certain time in his life where people didn't judge him, because now all these people criticize him, they throw hate in him, and they freaking like judge him based on his sexuality and all this weird stuff that he's done. What's it called? Basically that. So he's basically saying in the song, take me back to November, as I guess November was a period of time where he felt like he wasn't criticized. He didn't get all this hate. He didn't get all this, like, attention surrounding him talking. Because I see where he's coming from. I hear people talk about Tyler the Creator a lot. They say he's weird. They say his music's whack. They really disrespect him based on his sexuality and stuff. So I can see why he wants to go back to those time periods to feel more safe. And I understand where you're coming from, Tyler the Creator. But, it's just something we all rappers might have to go through. And you're definitely going to have to go through after this album, because there's definitely going to be haters hating on one of the best albums of the year. And next I want to talk about is how he basically came out on this album, and I guess he said he was gay. He's basically exposing his sexuality as gay. One of the songs he was like, I've been kissing white boys since 2004 or something like that. But yeah, he does say that he's gay, and I'm pretty sure some of us knew, but if you didn't already, then yeah, he's gay. And there's really nothing wrong with that. I welcome all gays, lesbians, to my channel. Welcome, I'm Cash Out Christian. But yeah, regardless if he's gay, straight, whatever, I respect him and I like his music. That doesn't mean he's a bad person just because of the way he's born. It may be wrong depending on your religion or whatever, but to me, it's fine, honestly. As long as you don't do that stuff around me, it's fine. But I respect it, and I can see where Tyler, the creator, is coming from, and I can see why he would want to go back to normal times after coming out as gay, you know. I can understand him, and regardless if he's gay or if he wasn't, I would still respect him, and I still love his music, and I feel like he did enough on this album. Production-wise, it's good. He talks about how he's blossoming into a new person, and he's, like, changing, evolving still, and I guess that's why he called it Flower Boy, because he is blossoming like a flower, which is really cool. And if you guys have not heard this album, you definitely need to check this out. I put this as the #1 album of the year for a reason. So if you guys have not heard this album, I really recommend you do. I know you guys will like it. If not, then what can I say? But this is my #1 album, and that is my top 10 list of the year 2017, top 10 best albums of the year. Hopefully you guys understood that this is my opinion and that you can make your own video, and in the comments you can write your own top 10. But yeah, that'll be it. Let me know what you thought of this. Let me know if there were some albums you really liked that were in your top 10. Maybe if you want to add something on, because I didn't give too much detail in this video. I gave more in my first video because I don't want to make this video too long. But yeah, hopefully you guys understand that this is my opinion. And thank you for watching. If you haven't watched the first part of this, go watch it, then come back to this. But yeah, that'll be it for this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Turn on post notifications, subscribe, everything you need to do. If you guys did enjoy this video, like, subscribe, comment, share. Anything you can do to get this video around. On that, it's me, your boy, Cash Out Christian. I'm out. Peace.